The Affirmative Action Bill is to increase representation and participation of women in decision-making in all sectors of governance structures and processes. The process has spanned 2 decades and more, with the drafting of an affirmative action policy. In order to finally pass the bill into law, the National Technical Committee in charge of the bill has held the final validation meeting to appreciate the bill.
The purpose of this bill is a temporary measure to correct a gender imbalance in Ghana and to promote and ensure the full and active participation of women in public life by providing a more equitable system of representation in electoral politics and also generally in governance, in accordance with our international commitments and also our constitutional and national development aspirations. The bill, when passed into law, will identify and effectively redress gender inequalities and imbalances in our economic, educational, cultural, and social lives. This is a very critical bill for us in terms of our national development and in terms of moving forward, especially in this year where we're looking at adoption of the Sustainable Development Goals, and for next year, which is election year, and for our quest to increase the numbers of women across board. So with your support, the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection was able in 2013 to submit a drafting instructions to the Attorney General. The copy of the Affirmative Action Bill you see is the 3rd and final draft. It's undergone a lot of changes, reviews, comments, and what have you. And the Attorney General on the 24th of August sent us this final draft and has asked for final comments. And that is why we're here today. We want you to critically examine the bill that we have. We're making final comments, we'll finalize, and we're hoping that by 1st November, we will submit to Cabinet. We also have a draft Cabinet memo, which a small team from the technical committee will also be looking at. We will finalize the bill when you have all put in your comments. We'll send to Cabinet. Cabinet will approve. We'll go through the legislative making processes in Parliament and then ensure there's presidential assent. We'll put a team together to ensure all these processes, and as part of this engagement, we will review.
After the validation, the committee will forward the final draft to Cabinet. The Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection, Nana Oyelitha, said all government institutions, civil society organizations, private sector and individuals have a role to play in the implementation of the Affirmative Action Law.
The Honorable Minister has taken us through the journey. It has not been easy, but at least we have something. And I want to acknowledge all of us, the technical working group. I want to, even before the closing remarks, I want to acknowledge your efforts, your input. Some of them are not here. I cannot see Professor Georgie Chikata and some of the others. But I am happy we didn't relent on our efforts, and we have a draft. And I believe that somewhere along the line, this bill will see the light of day, and we will know that Ghana has something that will push women forward. Today, as the Honorable Minister has said, we have come to ensure that we put in all the spices that are left, every comma, full stop, all of it, so that it can move beyond the ages. We are happy to hear there's a draft cabinet memo, and I I am sure that will not be much of a problem looking at to ensure that it moves to cabinet. Again, to say that we should all be ready. The proper work is now going to begin. To get people to buy into this is the next thing that is coming. And Honorable Minister has already asked that we all get on board. Thank you for putting me in the chair.
I don't know how to thank the minister for actually leading. I will say the crusade. This is a crusade, very big one, of course. The members of the ministry, how patient and tolerant they have been of everything, especially when they met as MPs. We ourselves, excuse me to say, we have a cool down attitude of ourselves. And we saw it when the MPP came up and wanted to start the affirmative action something. If you looked at the women who came out, the people who came out, and they were bashing and talking against MPP taking that stand, it was mostly women. It was mostly women. You look at it and you can see that it was mostly women. Why that? The men have agreed. They know, they understand. They know that if I do not have a wife and I do not have a sister, at least I have a what? A mother. I have a mother. If I have no child, I have a mother. I know it's a woman who gave birth to me. And I know very well that if that mother, that woman for that matter, had not been a good leader, she wouldn't have given birth to me, led me to the extent that I see myself as somebody today. But if we ourselves, we can be the first to come out and hit the streets and hit the minds and show our faces and drag our colleagues down, then we need to ask ourselves a lot of questions.
Barry has outlined to us. We will acknowledge, or we will take cognizance of the fact that this is a third edition we are looking at, as has been outlined by the Honorable Minister. There was a 2014 edition. There was a 2015, I call it pre-August because I used it pre-August. And there's a post-August, which we are now looking at. This process itself has given us a few challenges, because my first upfront comment is that even though the bill has improved significantly, become stronger, the memorandum is still based on the 2014 edition. So there are some circumstances in which the memorandum is saying something and the bill itself is saying something else. So our first task is to update the memorandum, especially in view of the cabinet position paper that is going to be presented, because summaries count. For a lot of us, we believe in rapid results. We read the summary and we use it rather than going through the nitty-gritty of the bill.
Then on, I think the page, it has to do with the definitions. I think page 29, it says woman, when we say woman, we mean girl. So I'm just wondering why we are saying that, because for girls and women, their experiences are different. So I'm just wondering why we are saying when we say woman, we also mean girl.
It appears that in certain places, we're using the public service and the civil service interchangeably. Because if we use the public service, it allows us to cover all kinds of bases. Because right now, the civil service is very small. The civil service is very small, and the bill is totally silent on the local government service, which has taken up the huge mass of those who used to be in the civil service but are working at the subnational level. So we need to, because even in one of the schedules, the heading is strategies for the civil service. And I would think that we would want to put it public service, so that all those under 190 in the Constitution are covered.
Partners unanimously urged Ghanaians to join the crusade to advocate the passing of this bill into law.